Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is my pulls video for the twins. If you are new to the channel, I do skip blue orbs and I'll let the gold orbs play out. And I'm going to be going in here with tickets, about 200 tickets. If you go in here with gems, I don't think you can go, I don't think that's a bad move at all. I do think that the twins are worth gems because I think at this point they are the strongest damage, AoE damage dealers, and probably just AoE damage dealers altogether. If there's up to 3 enemies on the field, which is where the power comes from, their power comes from how many enemies are on the field. They're going to do like 1,000,000 damage per character, not 1,000,000 and then split between 3 characters. It's like 1,000,000 per character if you have the twins, I think, maxed out with armor and things like that. Even with 2 characters, they do, or 2 enemies on the field, they're going to do about 700,000 damage per enemy. Like, they just do an insane amount of damage. Their downside is that they don't provide any auras to the party. They don't have any big defense down debuffs, kind of, because they do have one debuff called stack resistance down, which imperils the enemy for fire, ice, water, earth, and thunder damage, earth damage and thunder damage. So all that stuff is very unique to them as far as that type of debuff. Now they have and they can break all enemies, so regardless of what the brave is on the enemy, both the S1 and the EX are gonna insta break them, which is also something that's extremely useful. And their burst plus will give them HP damage all the way up to like 30%, or I think even 40%. And then they give brave damage, HP damage limit up, and they provide really good auras. But again, it's really dependent on how many enemies are on the field. They're going to provide the most auras to the party from the burst effect if there's up to 3 enemies on the field. As long as there's 2, the LD alone is going to do like 700,000 damage per enemy. Where again, if there's 3 enemies, you can do up to like 1,000,000 damage per enemy. Their damage output is insane. And I would have recommended for new players to go with Garland over the twins, and now I think I'm more on the side of recommending the twins over Garland. And that's a really hard recommendation, just because I have Garland and I pulled for Garland in the past when he came out with his burst, and the guy is phenomenal. His kit is really good. He's a delayer. He provides really good auras to the party from his burst as well. And so at this point, the only reason I'm going to give it to the twins is because even if there's not a lot of enemies on the field, the twins are going to do what I consider Lufenia damage, like early to mid Lufenia damage. Not Lufenia plus, but Lufenia damage, which is like 200,000 to 300,000 damage for like an LD attack and stuff like that, which is what I was normally seeing, because I think even like Lightning, if I'm not mistaken, does like 200,000 to 300,000 damage on her LD. And so I feel like if you don't have a bunch of enemies, the twins can definitely stand out and help new players clear a lot of older content. And that's the reason I'm going with the twins. If I did not have Garland, I would pull for the twins over Garland. Reason being is that to find, I think, magic damage dealers that do this amount of damage, like twins do, is harder to find than like physical damage dealers, in my own opinion. It doesn't matter who you go for, whoever you go for, whether it's the twins or Garland, you can't go wrong. They're both designed to kind of keep up with Lufenia plus, I feel, but Garland didn't get as much rework or great things to his kit that were much different from the past. Now that doesn't make him bad. He was already great, and the little bit extra that they gave him from like his burst plus, and the fact that I think one of his moves does a double, is now like has an HP dump in the middle of it, just makes him better than what he used to be. But I guess for me right now, I'm seeing that everything in Lufenia plus up until like right now has been a lot of like a damage race, and I feel that that's where Garland kind of slightly might lack a little bit. Where, if you pull off an LD from the twins doing 1,000,000 damage, it would take Garland multiple turns to do that kind of amount of damage. And so that's the reason I'm going with the twins on this one. I'm only going to try to go again for their LD. Sabin is also on this banner, but Although, I mean, his kit does ignore defense. I don't really suggest going for him. It's not somebody that I'm gonna plan on using. Um, so other than that, you'll see here. Is this where I get the? No, I don't get. So I didn't get. I ended up getting like multiple, a bunch of like Sabins or two of Sabins LDs. But anyway, twins. Their main thing is their Mirage S and Mirage L buffs, which you start off you start off with both of those buffs. Because I would assume at this point you're gonna get their EX, max out all their weapons, and because I think you max out their EX and stuff like that, you're gonna start the quest with all of the twins' buffs. So yeah, here I do get Sabin's LD, but again, it's like whatever. I'm whatever about it. I don't think I really need them. I already have Zell, and Zell does, I think, almost the same thing. Except Sabin hits for elemental damage, where I think Zell doesn't. But Mirage S and Mirage L both just give you different types of buffs to the party. So Mirage S gives you speed and brave damage resistance, and then Mirage L gives you attack, max, brave, and defense. If you have both of them up at the same time, you get an additional attack, max, brave, initial brave, and defense by 10%. Not too much of a difference, but everything helps in Lufenia Plus. Then one thing you'll get from using his LD, which is the way I think you should always start the fight, is the Mega Mirage summon for 10 turns. And what that's going to give you, it's going to give you attack overflow and elemental weakness damage up by either 20, 30, or 40%. And what determines that is, again, the number of enemies that are on the field. If there's 3 enemies, you're going to get the full 40% attack up, overflow, elemental weakness. But again, it's only to the twins. They provide no party buffs. Then you have HP damage all the way up to 40% if you have 3 enemies. So it's 10% for one, 20% for 2 enemies, and 40% for 3 enemies on the field. And here I keep getting Sabin's LD. I want Twins LD. If I get the burst, I mean, I would probably green. I don't know if I would green them. I probably shouldn't say that, but I might green them. I'm just looking to get their LD. So again, you want to start off with the LD. And then go and just be alternating between S1 and S2 to keep up the Mirage L or the Mirage S with the S1 and Mirage L with the S2. The difference is that the S1 is going to do a thunder and earth damage, both in that S1, where the S2 does ice and water all in the same attack. Which is cool because if you're ever against an enemy that resists one of the elements, you're always hitting with a different element, so you should always be able to do weakness damage to the enemy. Now the other difference is that S1 breaks all enemies regardless of whatever brave they have. So think kind of like Strago or Bart's is LD, where it just actually Bart's LD first does gravity and then hits, but it's an insta break pretty much. And what it's going to end up doing is that it's going to execute the move twice if you're breaking all enemies on the field. So S1, I believe, I don't think it's going to hit too much harder. I think that when the S2 is also executed twice, and the only other difference is that the S2 is going to put a speed down, which, I mean, not a big deal, but yeah, that's pretty much all you're doing, I think, really with the twins. Start off with the LD, keep up the buffs with S1, S2, depending on if the enemy is weak against, one of the elements. You could always use the other skill. And here I do get their LD, I think, on exactly 200 tickets. I do not plan on wasting any more tickets after this pull whatsoever. So yeah, I'm super happy with that. I don't plan on going after their burst at all. If I pull their burst on like Garnet's banner, then yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for that, because I will be pulling for Garnet. Now that's pretty much it for the twins. It's literally LD into S1 and S, and just alternating between S1 and S2. That's it. If the enemy increases their brave tremendously, then you want to go with the S1 to guarantee the break. But other than that, that's it. The EX is not that great. It also does break all enemies, but I think it's their weakest attack, and it does give that is what gives the stack enchant to the twins. So you definitely want to be using that to be able to keep up the stack enchant, which enchants the twins with all the elements except Holy and dark. So it's pretty simple, you know, what they do. Now, when it comes down to their burst plus effect, their burst effect actually is going to do is going to give brave damage up, HP damage, and HP damage limit up. Now, the brave damage can go all the way up to 50% if there's 3 enemies on the field. HP damage can go all the way up to 30% if there's 3 enemies on the field, and all the way up to, I think, 30% on just a regular burst like effect, but then another 10% if you end up going 2 out of 3 on and burst going into the burst plus. Now, they also do overflow, but the main thing here is this: is that on average, there's you're going to probably encounter 2 enemies. So in that case, you're looking at getting 30% brave damage up, 20% HP damage, and then 20% other HP damage on the HP damage limit. So although they're not, at that point, it's not the greatest auras, I think they're pretty good. And they are not designed to be aura bots, right? I almost think about this as being something extra, you know, their burst effect. Because with them, you're going to most likely need to bring a healer, and a lot of healers already provide, you know, I think auras, attack auras, and things like that. So with the twins, I am recommending them over Garland at this point. This is my personal recommendation. I think you have other characters that are going to be coming up here that are going to do, you know, a good amount of damage. You will be having, for example, Jet will be coming out, Arden's coming out. You also have a Shadow that'll be coming out, and right now you can actually, actually Cloud of Darkness just literally left today on the banner, but I would have rather pull, honestly, Cloud of Darkness over Garland. And again, that's my personal opinion. That's what I would do. And reason being is that she has way more instant break and delay than Garland does. And I like her burst effect more than Garland. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that. Now, you should be saving your resources, and I would say for example, Oren's coming up as well. You're going to have Kane coming up, and he ends up getting, you know, pretty good as well. Jagron's coming up. Then you got Lightning with her Burst Plus or BT Plus. So, I don't know. I think that when it comes down to damage dealers, Garland, I feel, can be replaced, where the twins type of magic damage is a little harder to be replaced. But again, that's my personal opinion. So, if you pull on the banners, good luck. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments what you think about the banner, if you use tickets or gems, and also check out the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of useful information, and I'll see you in the next one.